All right, guys, welcome to Acts 22. This is the speech that we were led up to yesterday. This is the great speech that Paul is about to pour out on these people. He's in Jerusalem. He's been taken captive. The Romans came down and snatched him up, and he begged them, "Hey, let me have an opportunity to speak." And I get the feeling he's about to unload. I'm out here sitting on the side of the road filming because I got a house full of people. And I wanted to be quiet for this one because I really want to pay attention to what's going on here, to be able to point out things for you guys, to maybe help you a little bit, because this is probably going to be a very important chapter. Listen to the words of Paul giving one of his final speeches in the Bible. Acts 22. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense before you now. And when they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, they kept all the more silent. Then he said, I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our fathers' law, and was zealous toward God, as you all are today. I persecuted this way to the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women, as also the high priest bears me witness, and all the council of the elders, from whom I also received letters to the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring in chains even those who were there to Jerusalem to be punished. Now it happened, as I journeyed and came near Damascus at about noon, suddenly a great light from heaven shone around me. And I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? So I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. And those who were with me indeed saw the light and were afraid, but they did not hear the voice of him who spoke to me. So I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Arise and go into Damascus, and there you will be told all things which are appointed for you to do. And since I could not see for the glory of the light, he got to see the glory of God head on, and it blinded him. Being led by the hand of those who were with me, I came into Damascus. Then a certain Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good testimony with all the Jews who dwelt there, came to me, and he stood and said to me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that same hour I looked up at him. Then he said, The God of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will and see the just one and hear the voice of his mouth. For you will be his witness to all men of what you have seen and heard. And now why are you waiting? Arise and be baptized and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Lord. Now it happened when I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple that I was in a trance, and saw him saying to me, Make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. So I said, Lord, they know that in every synagogue I imprisoned and beat those who believe on you. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by, consenting to his death and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. Then he said to me, Depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. And they listened to him until this word, and then they raised their voices and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he is not fit to live. Kind of sounds like what they did to Jesus, doesn't it? He's not worthy to live here. Verse 23, Then they cried out and tore off their clothes and threw dust in the air. The commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks and said that he should be examined under scourging so that he might know why they shouted so against him. See, the Roman guard couldn't understand Hebrew. He didn't know what was being said. So he's going to beat Paul and get the words out of him. Hey, what happened, Paul? Verse 25, And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said to the centurion who stood by, Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman and uncondemned? Paul's calling in his cards now. In a way, he's pulling a race card, citizenship card. Verse 26, When the centurion heard that, he went and told the commander, saying, Take care what you do, for this man is a Roman. Then the commander came and said to him, Tell me, are you a Roman? He said, Yes. Now this is funny because, he spoke in Hebrew, so they didn't understand he was from Tarsus. But verse 28, the commander answered, With a large sum I obtained this citizenship. And Paul said, But I was born a citizen. So the commander of the army bought his citizenship. Paul was born under it. Paul has claim to fame here. In the Roman world, Paul had more rank than this guy did. Verse 29, then immediately those who were about to examine him withdrew from him, and the commander was also afraid after he found out that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. So, scary situation here, because now the Roman army, the detachment up there, they now realize, hey, we're dealing with a guy who is one of us. We're dealing with a guy who knows all about Roman law, a guy who was born a Roman. Most of us were not. We had to buy our citizenship. He was born there. He holds higher status than we do in the society. So they can't touch him because he is uncondemned. It was an act of, basically, act of Roman Congress to beat a Roman. You had to do something real, real bad. So yeah, they can't lay a hand on him. So there's a problem now. It's going to be a lot of division here. And finally, verse 30, the next day, because he wanted to know for certain why he was accused by the Jews, he released him from his bonds and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear, and brought Paul down and set him before them. So Paul is now completely upending. Here's what's funny. When Paul was Saul, he was upending everything, and now he's Paul, and he's now upending everything, but it's for different reasons. So tomorrow will be Acts 23, and his speech is going to keep going, and this little council thing is going to keep going, and so he gets to speak to a lot of people and maybe change a lot of people. How interesting. Christ did that, and now Paul is doing that. Look, you see the mirror image going on here, and all through the Bible we have these mirrors of Christ in other individuals, and it's no different with Paul. I don't think Paul sees this, but we can see this reading the account, and that's very interesting to me. So guys, that was Acts 22. I know we didn't get a lot out of it, but you see the speech going on here. The speech speaks for itself. We're going to find out more tomorrow in the rest of his speech and see what they have to say to this incredible guy who's a Roman, a Jew. Nobody can lay a hand on him, but he has this interesting testimony, and how they're going to address it, and how they're going to acknowledge it, and how they're going to respond to it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.